What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's Tuesday morning. How y'all feeling? I'll let you know how I'm feeling in a minute. Right now, I'm trying to get it together. I did go on a walk this morning. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the walks like give me a little energy. Sometimes the walks be a struggle. Today wasn't so bad. I wasn't struggling today like I have, in the past, a couple of days. But what happens is you get your shit going. Oops, you get your thing going, and then you take a break. Your break be longer than you thought it was gonna be. This weather, I'm gonna use the weather as an excuse. It was cold, it was hot, it was rainy, it was not. And I couldn't get on my consistency. So I feel like, I'm definitely gonna get on my consistency. So by the end of the week I should be fine. It always is a little bit of a drag, in the beginning. Did I ask y'all to like the video? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's a Kiki over here. Just a little morning conversation, just a little something to get you started, on your day as you try to make your way to your lunchtime. You know what I'm saying? We have a little conversation and then we get on with the thing. And sometimes, depending on the temperament of what's going on in my head, I might come back a little bit later. Today I'm not, but you can look forward to some Bell Collective reviews coming up later on this afternoon, but I will not be live. I gotta move at my own pace today, guys. Because that's somewhat how you win at life. How do you win at life? Step one, you let people do what they need to do to make themselves happy. Mind your own business and do what you need to do to make yourself happy. It's not that hard. Now, as long as whatever it takes to make you happy don't interfere with what it takes to make me happy, then we own a good start. Good morning, T. What you got today, T? I'm caffeinated. This is my second cup of caffeinated. So I wonder, should I go to decaf? Because I feel like the caffeine is an addiction that you don't recognize until you don't have it. And so when I'm like drinking coffee, and then when I don't have coffee, I do have headaches. So, maybe I'll do it over the weekend where, I'm not trying to come over here and do what I'm doing. But yeah, I might try to get off the caffeine. You just warmed up your tea. Uh, Now, I do like tea. I'm a tea girl, but for me, the tea is more like, for soothing. It's the ritual, it's the coffee ritual for me. So I think I might switch over to decaf. Let me do a little research, or I'll have my local, in house health switch to matcha. What's in matcha? Does matcha have all those little no, that's boba. I don't like that thing. Matcha. I'll have to just see what I can do with matcha. Can I make it in my coffee maker? Is it gonna take more steps than I have in a day to get to a matcha? I feel like it's time for me to switch it up. Green tea. It has caffeine. Yeah, I'm trying to get away from the caffeine. The tea I drink doesn't have any caffeine. It's more like turmeric and peaches and health healthy things. So yeah, I'll get on my in-house, Dr. Kylie. She thinks she knows it all, and sometimes she knows more than I know. So I'm gonna ask her about the caffeinated versus the decaffeinated. Ain't none of it probably good for you, but yeah, let's get into that banner again. You need to like let people do what they need to do to make themselves happy, and mind your own business, and do what you need to do to make yourself happy. I I feel like I focus mostly on my own business. You say you swift the matcha and add water. Okay, I'll see. Sounds like is it a coffee flavor? I don't know, child. I put it on my list. Prioritizing myself and my health has been one of those things. So I'm gonna ease off of this coffee and into. And like I said, in the past, I don't generally even finish my coffee. Like I poured out a half a cup of coffee this morning when it got cold because there's that line, that really fine line, green grass flavor. I don't want that. I don't want it then. I'm just gonna try to see what I can do to ease off of this. But like I said, I don't take a lot of coffee. I'm in that zone where it's just perfect. And then, I let it go. I probably won't finish this cup either, but I've gone a long time on talking about coffee. But this is, how we get started. Good morning, Ja Tony. What you sipping on? Coffee? You don't strike me as a coffee type. You strike me as I don't know, Mountain Dew. What you be drinking in the morning, Ja Tony? Ooh, child, let's get into the things. Because we all got things to do. I'm so glad y'all are here to do them with me today. So, this is what we do over here. If you're a first time here, we get into some current events, we get into some celebrity gossip, and we always get into some Black things, the things that are excellent and the things that are history. So we're going to start with history as per usual. Before Elvis Presley released his hit single, Hound Dog, Big Mama Thornton released the original version in 1953. I'm going to give y'all a little, not too much. You ain't nothing but Okay. I like her. I like the sound of her voice. I might have to add the original to my playlist. I don't Elvis Presley, but isn't that something like when you think of Elvis Presley, that's the first thing you think of? We need to erase that and put Big Mama Thornton in your brain cells when you hear Hound Dog. I'm gonna have to start playing that on my morning walks. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, do what I need to do to get myself motivated. On August 13th, 1952, 4 years before Elvis Presley would record his version of Hound Dog, his longest running number one hit, the song was recorded for the first time by the rhythm and blues singer Willie Mae, Big Mama Thornton in Los Angeles, California. Because Presley's version spent 11 weeks at the top of the pop charts, it has often been mistakenly assumed to be the original. We don't assume that. We know back then y'all was definitely snatching, pretty much like the same way you do today. Big Mama Thornton and Johnny Otis. Johnny Otis. We need to start naming our kids back again names like Johnny Otis. I would like to call out, Johnny Otis, can you come here, please? Anyway, the Johnny Otis Band recorded Hound Dog and turned it into a smash hit on the R&B charts, where it remained number one for 7 weeks. I'm with it. I love that. I think, I want to put that in my ear and, in my daughter's ear. Ooh, looky here. There's people over. Everybody say hello to everyone. We got Miami Garden shows. Miami Garden now, Gardens now. Child, we gonna call you Miami. Don't, charge it to my heart, charge it to my head and my eyes, because they're very bad, even with the glasses on. I did know that, T, but we have to like remind ourselves and maybe get a little different perspective away from, thinking that Elvis is the one. I can't. Yeah, I watch the 5 heartbeats. Every now and then I have to 5 heartbeat myself. Heart of love, and I will learn. Yeah, that's my shit right there. I do like her version. You know what I'm saying? I want to start turning it on in the house just to get my kids' reactions. My kids they like a lot of old music. Yeah. You said you know that with your dad. I was privy to a lot of his records. He turned me on to Take Out the Papers and the Trash. Remember that? He made y'all listen to that too? Think he just, it's Miami Gardens now. Whew. I like that. Miami Gardens now. What is the history of that? I would like to know. I love Miami. Let's get that clear. I'm guessing you're from Miami. I don't know. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. And yes, let's find out a little bit more. I'm glad that you laugh. I'm glad you don't take it personally, because I don't mean it that way. I'll be over here trying to read. Some days are better than others. Little known fact, I do have dyslexia. That's not an excuse. That's just a fact. It's not horrible, but sometimes when I'm reading the letters and things get all switched around, and then I sound a fool. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep coming over here, sharing with you, the things that I've learned over here. Whackety whack. Not whackety whack. It don't say whackety whack. It say yakety yak, Tony. Yakety yak. Don't talk back. Yes. Anyway, yeah, so at some point today, scroll on down whatever, platform it is you use for music and hit that, search bar and find Big Mama Thornton and let her get in your ear about how you ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. This is interesting. So there's a new app that allows people to video chat with an AI generated version of Jesus for $1.99. I'm kind of interested just a little bit. I wonder, like $1.99 a minute. What is Jesus over here saying to you for damn near $2 a minute? Everything I know is wrong. A tech company just like me has launched an AI Jesus avatar so users can talk to for $1.99 a minute. The AI based on the chosen actor Jonathan Ruby can pray with users. Oh my God! Speak multiple language and remember past conversations. This sounds so bad. Like I have so many thoughts of psycho people with, religious psychosis. What if my Jesus don't look like that? I don't want that Jesus. I'm guessing you can click on whatever Jesus. I want my Jesus to sound like Mama Thornton. Feel like I listen to her. If she's over here, I don't know, for $2 a minute. For $2 a minute, I want to check it out. I'm just kind of curious. You live in the city of Miami Gardens where the Miami Dolphins play. Oh shoot, are you a football? Because we do a lot of football talk. AKA Hard Rock location. Even though everyone says it's Miami, Miami Gardens is currently the largest black city in Florida. Now I'm even more interested because I'm gonna tell you Miami Gardens now. Whenever I think about where I won't relocate to Miami, it's too close to the water. Hurricane season. I like to be centrally located. You know what I'm saying? Just based on weather alone, but I do love to go to Miami. When I search places I want to go, I always search the demographics. I always just kind of want to know what to expect, and I like being around my people. Oh, that's dope. That's so dope. You report community news in the area because the mainstream news tends to overlook what's happening in this community. Well, you know what? We speak about what's going on in our communities over here. So if there's anything, you think I need to talk about over here, please let me know. You can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok as just Rhonda01 because, we have a lot of our subscribers, our, family over here. We like to discuss these types of things, let the people know what's going on, especially like coming close to election season. So yeah, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the chat. I'm going to just call you Miami because I like that. I like to shorten it up a little bit, keep it simple. And you can just call me Rhonda if that's what makes you comfortable. And for $1.99, Miami, if you're looking for a little $2 Jesus in your life. I swear, it makes me think of, people that'll be over here looking for salvation down to the AI Jesus. That's very scary. Are y'all familiar with Coach Stormy? I'm not. I hear about her a lot, but I don't really spend too much time with gurus and things in my life. But some people do. Coach Stormy, her name has been circulating around in these streets for many years. She's hit with a lawsuit by the Federal Trade Commission over false advertising claims to promote her multi-level marketing business promises to make people millionaires. Low vibrational. Is she the one that came up with that? I mean, I feel like I've run across a multi-level marketing situation once in my life, and once they get to talking, I don't know how people fall for it, but just like $2 Jesus, but if I'm gonna look for $2 Jesus, he better be black, yeah. Just like $2 Jesus, people be spending their money like in various places. So, like I said, I'm not familiar with Stormy, but I've heard a lot about her. In recent lawsuit filed by the Federal Trade Commission against entrepreneur and motivational speaker Stormy Wellington, widely known as Coach Stormy, is drawing attention to a controversial practice often associated with multi-level marketing businesses. The case centers on allegations that Wellington used misleading advertising to promote her ventures, promising that participants could achieve millionaire status through her programs. I mean, that's a big promise. What'd I do? Child. Here we go. Can't touch nothing over here. The case centers on allegations that Wellington used misleading advertising to promote her ventures, promising that participants could achieve millionaire status through her programs. That's a big promise. But I feel like people, I guess everybody's brain don't have common sense attached to it. According to the complaint, the FTC claims that Wellington made exaggerated or unsubstantiated income claims while recruiting individuals into MLM opportunities. These types of claims are major focus for regulators as they can create unrealistic expectations and encourage people to invest time and money into business models where the majority of participants historically earn little to no profit. MLM operated by having participants earn money not only from selling products, but also from recruiting others into the network. Yeah, that's how it works. While legal, the model has long faced criticism for its structure, which critics argue disproportionately benefit those at the top. Well, yeah, that's why you got to get in there early. By the time you get to one of these underlings, you ain't finna make no money. The FTC has increasingly taken action against companies and individuals who blur the lines between legitimate businesses and opportunities and deceptive practices. Why are they targeting her? Because I feel like a lot of people do this. Isn't that girl over on Beverly Hills, selling manifestation and such? The lawsuit against Wellington reflects broader regulatory push to hold influencers, coaches, and online entrepreneurs accountable for the claims they make, especially in the age of social media, where aspirational marketing can spread quickly and widely. Terms like financial freedom and millionaire mindset, often used in promotional content, are now under closer examination, tied to income guarantees. I mean, this seems very blurry to me. It's not making me have any type of judgment against Stormy, not as of yet. If the FTC's allegations are proven, the case could result in financial penalties, restrictions on future business activities, or mandated changes in how such opportunities are marketed. Well, then that needs to go for everybody, not just Stormy. More broadly, it serves as a warning to both promoters and consumers. Transparency and realistic expectations are essential in any business venture. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how I feel about this one. It seems like she's kind of being targeted to some extent. I think there has to be some kind of common sense involved when you're dealing with market level management. I can't even remember what it was, but I had a former client approach me. It was one of these that did like the protein shakes, and they had like facial care. And she asked me, well, this is how she even approached the situation. She had gone away, moved to New York, came back here, and got involved in this thing. And like I said, there was a lot of them out there. Herbalife, it wasn't that one, but it's, same type of thing. And she came back. She reached out to me to start doing her hair again. She came a few times. Then she has this, idea that maybe she would like for me to host one of her events, kind of like a what you call it back in the day, the Avon lady or the Tupperware lady, or any of, how you host candy coated, freaky toy lady. You host the event and hopefully sell things. So I was like, it's fine. I was renting a booth at a salon. So the setup was kind of nice. It was a Sunday afternoon. She invited these people over. She had her lady come speak and was like, how she quit her job after selling these protein shakes. And I was like, I mean, I'm not out of shape necessarily. I'm average. I don't fall into any type of category besides average. When I'm trying to, get my summer thing together, I tighten up, but you don't look at me and go, that's a yoga girl and she spends all her time in the gym. I don't do that. I get, just tight enough to be fine in my swimsuit. Anyway, I'm, off the beaten path. So long story short, she tried to get me to sell these products. I told her I wasn't interested in selling her products. So she was like, call all your friends. I was like, if I call all my friends with this, then they're not going to answer my calls anymore. So, I feel like there's some level of common sense that goes along with, these market level management programs. And, do you want to go to Vegas? And I don't know what Stormy's doing over there. I know, like I said, I've been hearing her name for a long time, and I ain't heard nothing over here besides terms like financial freedom. If you're looking at her and thinking that this lady can make you a millionaire without doing any work, that's on you. So I guess to be continued. We keep our eye on Stormy. Let's see what the people said. This is a low vibrational plate. That's what she said. Okay. She's not a scam artist. This is in the comments. They're suing her for the words and phrases she's used in past to promote products. That's what it sounds like. The wording and the monetary gains posted without an income disclosure is against the law with the FTC. This type of change can hit all types of entrepreneurs and businesses, not just MLM and course coaches. They look at the marketing and determine if it violates the enticement laws they have in place. This is about what you can and cannot say. Legally, when promoting products and services, it's a marketing issue, not a personal issue. So yeah, this doesn't prove that she's a scammer like this person says. It just means like she's gonna have to be careful, how she says things in terms of marketing. A lot of people buy into it. Everybody talking about how this low vibrational plates, low vibrational men, low vibrational women. I don't vibrate over there where they be vibrating. I be over here minding my own business. Tell Tony, take it easy. Good grief. Here we go. I have to slap his hand every now and then because you know how he is. Have y'all heard this story? I think there's a documentary on Netflix. Child, I stay watching some documentaries. I'm that girl that will go to sleep listening to documentaries. Just horrible. 16-year-old stepbrother of Florida girl found dead in her cruise ship cabin, arrested after police say he especially assaulted and suffocated her and then hid the body. I feel like we knew this was the case. It just seems so very obvious. And okay, so let's get into it. This case took a very serious and disturbing turn. According to federal prosecutors, Anna Kepper's 16-year-old stepbrother has now been charged as an adult in the connection to her death during a family cruise. The Department of Justice says he's been indicted by a federal grand jury on first-degree murder and aggravated charges tied to the case. Investigators allege Anna was intentionally killed inside her shared cabin aboard the Carnival Horizon back in November. Officials previously ruled her cause of death as asphyxiation, and prosecutors claim efforts were made to hide her body inside the room after the incident. Her body was discovered the next morning by crew members, which led the ship to returning to the port of Miami. Authorities have also pointed to concerning behavior and a possible fixation as part of what they're investigating as a motive, though full details are still being handled through the court process. The teen was initially charged as a juvenile, but with these new federal charges, the case is now being prosecuted at adult level. This is so sad. I mean, it's about time they start charging some of their people, as an adult, because it happens over here all the time. You said you knew it was a stepbrother. Wasn't it very obvious? Like when I was watching the doc, I was like, it's what they investigating passengers and the staff, and the whole time this boy is, with lack of a better word, a weirdo. So at least we know he's being indicted and he's charged as an adult. For what he did, he is something wrong with him. I mean, on a deeper level than just, being a bad person. And wow, so what happens? Because these parents was defending him to no end. Same thing with JonBenet Ramsey. It's like, child. Anyway, moving on to other white people news. Ruby Rose. She accuses Katy Perry of SA her in a nightclub. She says she rubbed her disgusting vagina on her face and it made her throw up. Hold on for a second. I cannot. So she tweeted this because, that's where business is disclosed usually. When we feel like we got something to say, and get it off our chest, we go to Twitter with it. Ruby Rose said on her social media, she didn't kiss me. She saw me resting on my best friend's lap to avoid her. Wait. She saw me resting on my best friend's lap to avoid her and bent down, pulled her underwear to the side, and rubbed her disgusting vagina on my face until my eyes snapped open and I projectile vomited on her. Ruby, what were you drinking, for God's sake? So you was sitting on somebody's lap with your eyes closed, and this lady came over here, put her panties to the side. Ooh, Katie, what is going on with your vagine? Actress Ruby Rose took to social media with SA allegations against pop star Katy Perry. The Australian actress originally responded to a post made by Complex highlighting something unrelated that Katy Perry recently said. Ruby left a comment allegedly that the singer assaulted her in a Melbourne nightclub called Spice Market. Okay. Users began asking questions, leading Ruby to share more details about the alleged incident. She says the situation took place nearly 20 years ago, but Katy allegedly pulled her underwear to the side and rubbed her disgusting vagina on my face as she was resting in a club. Who be at the club resting? If it's time to rest, Ruby Rose, go home. I'm not saying the lady didn't do it. I'm just saying, how tired were you that she had time to do all that? Ruby says in response, she puked. She puked? Well, I don't know nothing about this lady, Ruby, but I feel like Ruby may have had a vagina or two in her face before. I don't think she was that traumatized by it. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just what I think. My opinion. After that, I threw up on her. Well, like I said, because you were maybe intoxicated. Maybe that's what happened. And maybe that's why you throw up. You know what I'm saying? I told the story publicly, but changed it to be funny, a funny drunk story. Okay. See what I'm saying? Because I didn't know how else to handle it. Later, she agreed to help me get my U.S. visa, so I kept it a secret. Oh, okay. Now we're transactional? But I did tell y'all she wasn't a good person. Instead, I got attacked by everyone. She said the same thing about Nicki Minaj, who, is probably not a good person, but, this has been her trend lately. She also responded to fans that questioned why she didn't go to the police, stating that for a myriad of reasons, opening up about W on W violence, woman on woman, and SA seems to be 100 times harder than speaking about the male predator, at least for me. I mean, I guess it's not the norm necessarily. Was she drunk too? Was both of y'all drunk? I have more questions, Miss Ruby, that you over here on under the comments telling this story. In one of her final responses, she says she has now filed a report with authorities. So she informed her followers that she's not uh, suicidal, on drugs, or suffering from mental health illness. Katy Perry's rep has since provided a response to TMZ stating that the allegations are not only categorically false, they're dangerous, reckless lies. Miss Rose has a well-documented history of making serious public allegations on social media against various individuals, claims that they have repeatedly been denied by those named. I don't know. I don't know if I believe Miss Ruby. Ooh, what'd you say, John Tony? JonBenét's brother did it and the parents covered it up. That's what I think. That's my opinion too. Yeah, I don't know, Ruby. This sounds a little crazy. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it does sound like drunk people, white girl wasted type of behavior. I guess the moral to this story is if you get really tipsy down to the club and you feel like you want to take a rest, call an Uber, go home, because you never know what you might find yourself, all up in your face with. Whew. On to the next. I'm not familiar with this young lady, but this story has, gained a lot of traction. I don't know influencers. I'm not a part of the influencer gang. So and I'll see a lot of girls with millions of followers, and I'm like, I have no clue who that is. But Ashley Janae and her fiance got into an intense dispute and was placed in separate rooms while on vacation in Tanzania. Her fiance claims he found her hung in the closet but waited 11 hours to contact authorities or her family. Wow. The mother and father of the influencer are speaking out and did a news interview saying the fiance called them hours after the horrible incident occurred and she was being taken to the hospital. As more updates come, we will continue to bring justice to the Robinson family. Oh, this is so sad. This is, pictures of her and him. The police in Zanzibar say, based on the preliminary investigation, influencer Ashley Janae passed away by unaliving herself by hanging her. I don't know about that. Is she all the way in Tanzania? This is so sad. This is a young girl. And he looks much older, to be honest. Child. I don't watch 90 Day Fiance, but I know he looks much older than her. Yeah, this is terrible. It's so hard, like when things like this happen out of the country, and are they being investigated? No, he did not. He did not immediately call. They said 11 years, 11 hours later. And then, so quick to come to the conclusion that she did this to herself. People are talking about the fact that it was her birthday. I want to go over to her Instagram. People are talking about it's her birthday, and most of the time, I don't know, that just seems like a strange way for her to unalive herself. And I'm saying that because she's making a career out of being a beauty influencer of some kind. So it just seems weird that that's the route that would go. This is not the first time this happened. Let's go over to her Instagram and see. Because like I said, I didn't know anything about the lady. She has 118,000 followers. And this is going to sound crazy, but as an influencer, I don't know that that's a whole lot. Let's see some of her stuff, like what she does. Okay, so she's got food over here. What is she influencing the people with? Looks like food on this situation. On this particular post. Yeah, she looks like a baby. Beautiful girl. So yeah, like I said, as far as influencers go, I wouldn't really know anything about that unless they, got on reality TV or something somewhere that I knew of. Here they are over here in Tanzania walking on some type of reserve, I guess, with this lion. What a beautiful animal. I have no need to walk right next to it, though. They're out here with the zebras. Who's taking the pictures? Him? So he proposed. This is very dramatic. He proposed out here in the jungle. Somebody, somebody that got underneath the giraffe to take their picture. So, this is her working. You know what I mean? As an influencer. So we don't know what happened. We know that there was a big enough argument for them to be put in separate rooms. So, I've argued with my partner before. We have never gone somewhere and had to be put in separate rooms. How old is this guy? I don't know, but he definitely looks a lot older than she is. You say you heard they were fighting so bad that the Posh Hotel put them in. Yeah, they put them in separate rooms. Like, that's a big fight. That's a big fight that you have to be put in separate rooms. So following the fight, then she comes up, hanging in her room. That's wild. I hope there's more investigation. I hope we go ahead and put the blame on, the colonizer that took her over there. I hate to say that, but that's what it looked like. And, waiting 11 hours before you go and tell the authorities and her family. Ugh. Yeah, R.I.P. young lady. That's very sad. Um, did y'all see this? This headline has me cracking up. King Harris arrested for drug possession while wearing a Pokemon onesie during a traffic stop. They call it Pikachu with a Master Ball. This man is driving around with a Pikachu costume on. This is somebody's father. Oof, Lord have mercy. King Harris had a run-in with the police in Georgia this weekend after getting pulled over during a traffic stop while in full Pikachu onesie. According to TMZ, things were serious behind the scenes. Rep for Gwinnett County. Why he over there in Gwinnett County? Looking for trouble? Dressed like a Pikachu? Ciao. Reps for the Gwinnett County Police Department say officers clocked King going 60 and a 45 around 1 a.m. Sunday before pulling him over. They claim they spotted a firearm in the vehicle, so he is just sitting in the seat, and ordered him out, but say he refused, which led to his arrest. I don't want this wild child driving around at 1 a.m., in a Pikachu costume and a firearm in the car. You can't make this shit up. Police say an officer noticed a vape pen that allegedly contained 10 milligrams of THC, and he's smoking, and I believe all of it. Now, as for the charges, according to documents obtained by TMZ, he was booked on a felony charge for possession of a controlled substance, plus a misdemeanor charge of willful obstruction of law enforcement. He was also hit with 2 traffic citations for speeding and not wearing a seatbelt. Oh, he just riding dirty. This boy out here riding dirty. And if that wasn't enough, King also went off on social media writing "F that police." Of course he did. And making some wild comments about officer's wife. Whew. He wanted to go in. He wanted to go in so bad, like he will drive around under the influence of whatever he had in that vape pen and, a firearm on the seat just like a Pikachu. He wants to go in and be under arrest for a very long time. The spoiled ass child. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. King was out here dressed like a Pikachu, riding around in the car with weed and a firearm visible to the police in Gwinnett County. Is marijuana not legal in Georgia? I don't know. It's not legal in Florida. Well, I think the thing is, wherever it's legal, you still can't be driving with it. I think that's probably the problem. Like if you have it in its container and it's not been smoked, that's one thing. But he was driving around dressed like a Pikachu, probably hitting the pipe, vape, whatever you want to call that thing. He's such an embarrassment. I'm sorry, but he just can't get it right. What'd you say, Miami? He's such an interesting case. He grew up privileged, but he wants to live the hood life. It's true. Um, I mean, maybe though, if you think about it, the hood life is in his house with all the things that people said, was going on over there. He's not too far removed from the hood. Rich spoiled son, embarrassing his family. I mean, Ti has done a good job of embarrassing his family also too as well, and it is what it is. Them kids, those other kids that come out, so intelligent and seemingly well mannered. They was raised by their mamas. They did not live in that house with them. So it is what it is. Like what you say, you can take the hood. You can't. You can take the person out of the hood. He wasn't even in the hood. He went running over there. It's maybe genetic. I don't know. Um, you said if King ever commits a real crime, his head will be get bigger. I mean, he just going in jail for a little while so he can go, roll one fat one with his homies and tell them about how he was locked up because they think that's cool. Whew. The police not messing with anybody smoking and drinking. Honestly, I think the smoking probably, I mean, he's in Gwinnett County, so you have to take that into account. He's not in Decatur. Um, he also had a firearm on him. We don't know if that's legal or what that is. Good morning, Elsie. And then he was probably talking spicy to the popo, driving not drinking. The police, well, I mean, he was speeding. It might have just been, a regular traffic stop on a man dressed as a Pikachu. I don't, I don't know. I feel like this king, he just wanted to be in trouble. He out here arguing with 50 Cent. Nothing has actually happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Where he will sit his ass down. Right now, he just, out here being wild. But, it is what it is. Let's get into something a little more positive. Flo J. Johnson selected number 8 in the 2026 WNBA draft. LSU national champion. Traded to the Seattle Storm less than an hour later. They was over there trying to negotiate to get your girl. She looks so nice. Look at Flo J. These are these are the draft class. I'll have to go over there and look a little deeper and see who's who. Um, she looks very nice. Some of them look like they put on a dress for the first time. I wish they would just wear a suit in that case. If you're not comfortable in a dress, then don't. And then some of these tall girls, NBA girls, they look like supermodels as well. So I like the whole supermodel NBA girls. Remember when Flo J was on Jermaine Dupri's show, the rap battle or whatever it was, whoever the same thing where uh what's her name? Good grief, my brain. Changed Mulatto. She changed her name so much. Mulatto. Now she's supposed to be Big Mama. Um. Anyway, that's where Lotto was over there with the kids rapping, and Flo J was over there rapping. So you can see her here rapping. I'm not gonna play it, but I hope now that she's in the NBA, she can go ahead and get money on both sides of this situation. Get your rap money and your NBA money because the girls are over here getting paid these days. So I'm so happy to see Flo come from LSU, which seems to put out a lot of these NBA girlies. They doing a thing over there. She's a member. She's an official member of the NBA, and the more she makes herself public in terms of her rap career, her music career, it'll only put her in position to make more money, more endorsements and things. So shout out to Flo J, and she loved they have they've stepped up her glam. They stepped up their glam. They have. I love that. They get on this and she looks amazing. Look at her in this sexy little black dress. Look at her. She the best dressed out of all of them as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, shout out to Flo. She, couldn't be a better time. The girls are out here getting a better check than they was before. And yeah, love to see it. So Detroit is getting a WNBA team. They named some other cities. I'm kind of still disappointed that we're not getting one. It's Orlando, so. But can we get one close enough for me to go to the game? For goodness sakes. What else is going on? This is just me being nosy because Portia brought this lady over here the other day, and I was like, "Who the hell is Sway?" We seeing a lot of Sway all of a sudden, and so I want to know who she is. You said this is what she does. She just showed up, at the party the other day, and the girls were like, eh. So how to learn how to start a profitable salon suites business. This is her Instagram. She says, you want to learn how to start a profitable salon suite business in your city. I'm hosting a free live event this Thursday at 7 p.m. It's virtual, so you can tap in from anywhere. Let's make 2026 your best year. Now, Sway, be careful how you say things because the people will be over here saying, that you not marketing yourself the right way. Let's go over to her page. I'm gonna be nosy. Let's see what y'all saying first. You say shout out to the coverage of the WNBA. I don't watch basketball, but I support women in sports. I tell you what, you go to a game and you'll feel very different. When you go to a game and you get the energy, it feels very different. Whether you like the team or not, you kind of get, it's easy. It's basketball, saying so it's not complicated to figure out. You said at least have teams visit their own cities to generate interest. We're not going to talk about how she bombed. We don't talk about how she did a great job, Tony. Yeah, so let's be nosy and let's go see what Sway is all about. Portia's little love interest over here. I noticed this because we were talking about it. I mean, for all of you that don't love Real Housewives of Atlanta, just, entertain us for a bit while we, get into this lady's business. So we talked about, what's her game. She's a salon suites person. She's giving these seminars over here so you can learn how to be successful in yours. She also down here, watch what happens live. So Sway is getting a lot of exposure being attached to Portia. She's, shaking hands with Andy Cohen over here. I saw this picture. That's what made me want to talk about this. They look good together. But when you look at this picture, it feels like Sway is over here getting a little shine by being attached to Portia. Portia's not that bright. I hope this doesn't. I mean, I guess, you get what you deserve, child. She did say this. So, and I did not know this.
Cool J is a partner with Phoenix Salon Suites. Phoenix Salon Suites has over 425 locations. LL Cool J owns 80 locations. And listen, he's not just a silent investor. He actually is involved in the business operations. He reviews P&Ls. He reviews lease negotiations. So he's been in the business since 2021. He is still active today in 2026. So listen, this is an amazing industry when done correctly. I'm hosting a free live training where I'm going to be breaking down the exact blueprint on how you can get your start in this industry in your city without any hair beauty experience, without any licensing. All you need is the blueprint, and I'm giving it away for free. So comment the word SWEET, and I'll see you at the event this week. Let's go.
It's not that complicated, Sway. I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you have money to invest in a property, much like Kenya did, if Kenya, instead of purchasing, I mean, instead of trying to upgrade somebody else's business, then she should have went over there and she could have turned the building into suites. And all you need to know is the square footage of how individuals or two individuals, however you want to spread it out. So let's see what y'all talking about. Yeah, it's not that complicated. But I'm not getting in her pockets. That's why do what you got to do. Yes, Portia is dating a woman. Although Real Housewives of Atlanta just started last week. We're 2 episodes in. She had a man date last week and a woman date this week. But her and Sway are very much on each other's social media. So it seems like they're a whole thing. Let's see what else we got going on over here. There's a lot of pictures of, Portia here with her. They do a lot of photos together. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Here she is in one of her suites. So yeah, this is Portia's new love interest. If you go to Portia's page, you get a lot more Sway. They post each other though a lot, I feel like. So it feels like this is a relationship. This isn't just somebody that she brought on the show. This is Portia. Portia, looks amazing. This is that dress she had on. Child, this dress is everything. You can't wear that with regular breasticles. You need those, surgical gravity defying boobs in order to wear something like this. But she wore the hell out of it. She looks great. And yeah, so in this dress she wore for that man that she introduced to us, and Mike from Ready to Love. But yeah, Portia and Sway be out here on vacation together. Oh, Pilar has a whole nother relationship to to get used to. Papa Simon is gone, and now there's Sway. So yeah, that's what Sway does. I just was curious, like I said, to what she does, because she came in and Phaedra said that you need to have a lot of coin if you're gonna be over there smashing with Portia. And so, seems like she has a lot of coin, at least enough to sustain, P. Willie. You praying for Pilar? I just think that people get caught up in, because Portia can do whatever she wants to do in her private life, but I feel like people get so caught up in making these TV relationships. They forget about the kids. Like, a person being in your life, you said Portia and her new relationship every year. You get these people in your life and you bring them around your children, and I know my kids who are grown. My kids were pretty much, my youngest was like 13 when I got with my partner, but they become a part of your family. And so then you just go exit them out the door and bring somebody else in and be like, okay, this is the new family member, old family member out. So yeah, it's unfortunate, especially for little kids. And I don't know what Dennis has to say about it. I know I would be over there saying, you won't be introducing my daughter to another new person that you got in your life. You can't have low hanging fruit breast in that dress. That dress is gorgeous. The dress is gorgeous. And Portia looked amazing in it. But you need, like I said, you need some assistance in order to defy the gravity that it needs to be in this dress. What you say, T? They need to tell how to get the capital to be able to start these businesses. You're going to have to take the course for that. You're going to have to take the course for that. Maybe what you should do is go over and get you some $2 a minute Jesus, and then go over and, get Sway's information on, how to gain the capital for that. I know there's a lot of, not being funny, there's a lot of small business loans that, they're being taken away, but they're still out there. So if you can afford to, get the building, that's what happened where I work. They bought the building. He moved the salon from a small location to a bigger location. This particular salon, this particular building had an upstairs and a downstairs. So he used the small part for the salon, and then he used the upstairs and the back for those suites. So if you can get something with the buy a building with a big enough space, you could turn it in to, a salon suite. So I don't think you need a class for that. I'm with you, T. You need to find out like how to get that money for the down payment on that building. I'm not gonna say that. Jatoni, somebody smack his hand. Jatoni is over here doing too much. She does. She has her exposed to a lot. Her mama ended relationships and hopping onto the next, dragging her. And then, like, we all had an issue with her, Pilar sitting on his lap and stuff. Simon was not giving loving stepfather. There was nothing about that came across loving. It was a whole lot of mess over there. So anyway, now we're here with Sway, and I have a feeling Sway is over here. I don't want to say clout chasing, but definitely benefiting from this big platform. And, it is what it is. So maybe she's met her match. We don't know. We will see. Tune into the next episode. So I told y'all I watched this series, Dirty Rotten Scandals, and it's the one that's got Bob Barker. That's the one I watched first. So the other day I watched the Dr. Phil one, and when I tell you, Dr. Phil was nothing nice. Let's see. Before I hop onto that, didn't Destiny on Love and Marriage Huntsville do something like that where she wanted suites in the back, but she didn't own the building, and also like she would have done better to just do the suites. You know what I'm saying? But these people on Love and Marriage Huntsville claiming to be realtors and things can't unload a building. I saw a video, maybe I'll see if I can find it, of Destiny over there, clumping up a driveway trying to, show off a house. Would you say Sway is going to be owning Simon's home next? I mean, I don't know. I ain't mad at Sway. Like I said, Portia just brings this on herself. You say you like the reality show Cutting It on We. Elsie, I have a hard time with hair shows because they always seem to not put the industry in the best light. LA Hair, I liked Kim Kimball, but the I don't know that those hairstylists in her salon were even real hairstylists. It seemed like they were actors over there pretending to do hair. And Kim was the only one really doing hair for the most part. Okay, so Dr. Phil. If y'all haven't watched, it's on E! Channel, Dirty Rotten Scandals. I watched Bob Barker. I watched all three. I tell you what, this one over here is worse than with Tyra Banks, Top Model. It's worse than the one that was on Netflix. Anyway, we're going to talk about Dr. Phil today.
I really want to know why we were calling Dr. Phil, because at the time of the Dr. Phil show, this man didn't even have an active medical license. This documentary on Dr. Phil, Dirty Rotten Scandals, literally just shows what everybody's been saying for years, that Dr. Phil just used people's real trauma and medical issues for entertainment. I'm so glad that this documentary brought up this episode right here from the Dr. Phil show that had a contestant named Todd who struggled with alcoholism, because this was one of the wildest episodes that was very hard to watch. We watched Todd come out with Dr. Phil onto the stage for this show, and he is messed up. He is slurring his words so badly, he could barely keep his eyes open, and he was staggering all over the place. We see Dr. Phil give this man a breathalyzer and start talking to him about his drinking habits. And then a bombshell happens because Todd actually comes out to major news media and claims that he actually got drunk in his dressing room at the Dr. Phil show because there was a bottle of vodka left in his dressing room. He also claimed that he was given Xannies before he came out with Dr. Phil onto the stage.
There's 2 liters of vodka and like some Red Bulls and orange juice and stuff like that. Being unsupervised by my parents, I drank the entire bottle. And And then at some point, somebody gave me a Xanax. They said, this will calm your nerves. And so I had been drinking and took a Xanax, which I've never taken Xanax before in my life. And I know that can be a deadly combination. So why it was given to me, I don't know.
Dr. Phil.
Hi, I'm Todd. Next thing you know, I'm being carried onto the stage because I can barely walk.
How drunk do you think you are right now?
An entire bottle of vodka.
Keep going. 0.263. What's going to happen to you if you keep drinking?
Hearing Todd say this was so utterly disturbing because, mind you, he was going on this show hoping, like many other contestants, that they were going to get help for what they were going through. And in all honesty, I think most of us have known for years now that former Dr. Phil's show was something that was actually very horrendous, using these adults and children's trauma and medical issues for entertainment for the whole world to watch just never sounded right. This is one documentary that I highly suggest you watch because it's also bringing things together even more, where there is even more questions for former Dr. Phil. But y'all, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. I really want to know why we were calling Dr.
If you haven't seen this documentary, I'm telling you, it was something else. And we used to watch Dr. Phil, me and my daughter, and then at some point it just became so toxic and too much to watch. Where is Kenya? Over on one of these other channels with Kim Zolciak and Tamar. They have a show coming out. So we ain't heard nothing else about her salon, but I don't think Kenya was serious about that anyway. She wasn't passionate about that. You said Dr. Phil built a studio in Dallas, Fort Worth area. I hear he's a 45, 47 supporter. Yes, and is. And if you watch this documentary, it won't surprise you. The way people were calling Dr. Phil for help because they thought that they would, people always saying, get therapy, get help, get therapy, get help. But not everybody is in the financial position to do that. So they called Dr. Phil because they think this is an opportunity, to help them with, whatever the issue is going on. And they came over there and got exploited. Like all of them came over there. And the staff people were afraid of Dr. Phil. You blame Oprah. She brought him over here. She did. Dr. Oz is freaking nuts. And they all support, the Orange Cheeto Man. You said Oprah has introduced us to a lot of troubled people. Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, Tyler Perry. She was over there with, what's his name? Einstein? Not Epstein, the other one, Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein. Was she on the Epstein? I don't know, Oprah. I'm starting to side-eye the godmother in my head, Iyanla, because I haven't watched her latest show. You said her latest show is not it. I haven't watched it, but I've never been an Iyanla fan. She was just doing too much for me. Like that kind of energy, like I reject it naturally. So it would take something different than Iyanla, you know what I mean, to be. I don't even think she's a real therapist. All these people calling themselves doctors, and they're not even. Yesterday, Dr. whatever her name is, saying that you're low vibrational based on how many children you have. Where is their doctorate at? And I remember Todd from Dr. Phil. I remember that episode where they dragged him out there. It was so hard to watch. You say, I could not stand Dr. Phil. Watched a few episodes and was done. Something about his smug, wild train. This is the thing. You said smug white man trying to save the world. Yeah. I feel like in the beginning it was one thing, and then like a lot of the other shows, it turned into something else. You said, girl, don't even bother with her and all that good goddess talk. She's exploiting folks and cosplaying African priestess. And her own life is all jacked up. Like, Iyanla can't fix her own life. They said she was at the Epstein Island. Ugh. If anybody says that they're a billionaire, I'm automatically going to feel suspect about that because, it's hard enough to be $100,000 heir. So billionaire, it just makes me feel like you're, out there exploiting and, doing horrible things to people who don't know any better, don't have any better. She's not a licensed therapist, Ayanla. And then I don't need it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I could go for $1.99 a minute and let white Jesus help me through my life. I don't need Iyanla to do it. Weinstein, Oprah and Gail won't say a word about him, yet Gail got promotion after R. Kelly's interview. You know what I feel about the R. Kelly interview, honestly? I feel like anybody could have done it. I don't really feel like there's so much credit should have been given to Gail. And, you know, I always think of Gail over there interviewing Lisa Leslie and bringing up Kobe Bryant and stuff. And I don't really fool with Gail like that either, over there taking trips to the moon with Katy Perry. I wonder if Katy Perry rubbed her cootie cat on Gail's face in the 11 minutes that they was up there. People say Gail like that too. I don't know. I'm just repeating what I heard, not what I know. You think Iyanla is a life coach, not a board certified therapist? I think they blur the line with that life coach thing a lot. And if your coach's life is jacked up, then maybe, I don't know. Who was married 3 times to a dusty man? Iyanla? Oh. You said why Portia got her butt in King's face? Because Rhonda is messy sometimes. And, you know, that's why. It was all about the balance. That's why I was trying to make sure the balance was, you know, on the photo. Oh, Robert. Yeah. Ugh. I'm trying to see what y'all saying over here. I'm just all in the conversation. A married man. I did not know that. Oh yeah. Y'all talking about Portia probably. Anyway, child. Go check out the documentary. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the Tyra, the American's Next Top Model one, because there's so much of that. Balancing Portia's butt don't makes it do when you leaning on King's shoulder. Yeah, so Dr. Phil documentary, Dirty Rotten Scandals. I like that series. I'll be looking to see like who's next, because I feel like it's amazing how we can watch these shows. And I feel like also we're a little bit smarter now than we were before, just because, you know, we know how production of shows works a little bit better. But they have painted this picture and, you know, set these people up to be exploited in a way that's just horrible. And we sitting up here like, oh, Dr. Phil. I mean, I didn't say that. Me and my daughter, like, it was a joke for us. And, you know, if I say something to her she doesn't like, and she'll say, now you owe me 1,000 Attagirls, because, you know, Dr. Phil used to say, you know, for every one bad thing, you got to replace it with 1,000 Attagirls. You remember Mama Braxton said she was a life coach. Well, look what happened over there. Tamar, she gets more and more broken. The more we see her, the more broken she becomes. And now she's on a show with Kenya Moore and Kim Zolciak, and I'm not watching anything with Kim Zolciak, so y'all are just gonna have to tell me like what it is, you know, because I'm not. It's not Bravo though. I think it might be E Channel. It's kind of, I guess, their version of the road trip on Bravo. You said that's wild, and don't forget her addiction. Well, y'all, you and High Vibe and Lotus Flower over here having a conversation, and I'm, you know, being nosy, trying to see what they're talking about. What else, you know, did I have on the docket for today? Yeah, like I said, y'all, go check out those documentaries, and the one about America's Next Top Model too. It just, you know, you get an even more clear addiction of the lies Tyra was over there telling, pretending like she had these girls' best interests at heart. Now, you know, y'all have heard me say many times I'm about to go sell pictures of my toes because the economy is messed up and, you know, I got cute feet. So don't judge me. But this lady over here, it says a Los Angeles Uber Eats driver has gone viral after revealing a surprise way she increases her tips. Jada Phoenix has shared that she began including her feet in delivery confirmation photos and soon noticed customers adding extra money after the drop-off. What started out as a simple side hustle turned into a trending tactic, with other drivers trying it and reporting major tip increases. some even receiving tips far higher than the original delivery pay. The post gained widespread attention online, with many calling the idea clever, while others were surprised at the real reason behind the boost. Despite mixed reactions, Phoenix says the response has been mostly positive and even helped her earn extra spending money. I mean, shout out to Phoenix. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I feel like if it's that easy, then why not? Wait a minute. Who was on crack? What you say? Side note, did y'all see Tawana big behind Crash Tony's concert? I did not see that. I seen Tawana over on Jalen, what's the names? Jalen, you know who I'm talking about. On Tubi, his show. You said I couldn't stand to watch his wife, Robin, try to walk after him at the end of the show. She did. It was almost like she needed that app that he was trying to sell. He was like, please help. Remember, he had that app that was like for women in distress. She looked like she needed some help. And I mean, they're painting this picture of, their family and how wonderful they all are. It's, they be messing with our minds. We just can't fall for everything we see. And like I said, we're much smarter than we used to be. So yeah, the lady was over here on DoorDash putting her toes in the pictures. I feel like if her toes got her bigger tips, then she maybe consider just selling her toes online. Not selling her toes, but toe pictures. You know what I mean. Apparently, there's a lot of people into that. Look, I've seen some DoorDash people putting their feet on the food. I don't care if you take a picture and your feet is in the picture, but please don't put your feet nowhere near my food. Y'all still talking about Ayanla? Oh, anyway, on to the next. So this, I live in Florida. Miami Gardenal, are you familiar with this type of life that that this lady is dealing with over here as she waters her grass? So I'll tell you what's going on first. A quiet morning in Naples, Florida neighborhood. Sunshine, palm trees, perfectly manicured lawns. Someone was watering the flowers like a normal day in Southwest Florida, and then a Florida panther casually walks down the street like it belongs there. Moments like this are a reminder that Naples sits right on the edge of one of the wildest ecosystems in America. Behind the golf course, gated communities, waterfront homes, and peaceful neighborhoods, the real wildlife is still moving through the same streets people drive every day. Florida panthers are one of the rarest big cats in the world, and Southwest Florida is one of the only places on earth where they still roam free. Sometimes the line between luxury suburbs, wildlife, Florida disappears for a while for a few seconds, and everyone watching remembers. Who lived here first? Just another normal morning in Naples, Florida, where nature occasionally reminds people that the wildlife is never very far away. So here's this lady. She's watering her grass. Oh, that's a little girl. Is that a lady or a little girl? Oh, that just made my heart beat fast. Holy Jesus. I'm guessing she got to her front door, child. That is wild. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You said Florida, a Florida panther. I thought y'all only had gators. No. We got bears. We got we got gators. This is the funny thing. Gators are the least of your worries around here. I would much rather deal with a gator than a Florida panther. You say no, you rather deal with your groundhogs. Listen, I was on a walk one day and I'm just walking down the street, and this is like, there's a busy street. I had to cross over to the busy street to get on the big sidewalk. where the sidewalk is wider for people can ride bikes and things. So I'm walking along, and there's this little area right in the middle of the neighborhood where, it hasn't been cleared out. So they leave a little, wildlife over there. And I looked down there and I seen what looked like 2 cows. And this was the second time I seen them, because the first time I seen them, they were literally walking down the sidewalk, in the neighborhood. And I'm walking in the neighborhood and I'm like, oh, somebody's dog's got to loose. I generally don't get afraid of dogs because, they're just out. They get a loose sometimes. And I have a dog, so I can tell the temperament. But I'm like, that's odd. These 2 dogs look exactly the same. And I get closer and they're 2 wild boar. And wild boar are, they're very big. Like I said, the second time I saw them, I thought they were cows. And so I didn't walk. I changed my pattern and, went walking down the street. And there they come out of the bushes. And then they're following me. So I'm like walking backwards, trying not to like make them chase me. And so, yeah, you can run into wild boar. I haven't seen any wild panther, but I used to work at Silver Springs, so I know we do have the big cats. You said not a panther, but I've seen an alligator strolling by. I saw a fox the other day. Are fox mean? I think that could be mean. When you were walking, those panthers, are y'all folks north of me, child? Always check under my car. You check under your car for alligators. You said you live in Arkansas. You only seen cows and MAGA. I think I'd rather take on a panther than a MAGA. Just kidding. But not really. Lots of predators, bears, venomous snakes. Florida is wild. Let me see this thing. I saw it the other day. This lady or man, somebody was like engaging with the alligator, talking about, because gators make like this, have this deep growl, but the gator was in the water. I think I saved it. We got so much wildlife around here. Here it is. This is what I do know. I will say this is very much not good. I've done this before. I've walked up on gators and, to film them because I see them often on my walks. However, this gator, they said, was making a mating sound. That's a mating sound. The last thing you want to do is have a gator that's not afraid of you. When I walked up on a gator, and like I said, I do it all the time. They generally back off. They go back under the water. They're very much not confrontational. So that gator right there is really comfortable with people, and they're very fast. So I think it's a bad idea to be, all up on a gator like that that's growling back at you. So yeah, it's a lot of jungle going on out here. Sometimes the gators may lay under cars. I see that often. And if your car is outside, and there are lots of canals down here, right behind the Hard Rock Stadium is a walking trail, and they have beware of gator signs. Don't run straight, run and zigzag. They fast. So I don't know if you'd be fast enough to zigzag. They don't have they're not going to chase for a very long time, but they're definitely fast. I would say, don't get too close to them. It's a bad idea. And like I said, if they're not leaving, like scurrying away from you, that means people have been feeding them. We have signs like there's a big retention pond in my neighborhood, and there's signs everywhere that says don't feed the gators. And you'll see people fishing right there on the banks of that water. So I haven't seen anybody get snatched up, but not Barry White gator. when they get to mating, that's when they start wandering around neighborhoods, and you'll see them like Miami Gardens now. You'll see them like under people's cars and wandering around in people's neighborhoods. So, is it a male gator? That does sound. I don't know what it was. I know it wasn't scared enough for me. That gator was pretty much right up on. I mean, that person was right up on the gator, and the gator wasn't going nowhere. So anytime I walk up on a gator, they generally, you got to sneak up on them because they gonna run away. And if they don't run away, then you should probably be backing up. Not a good idea. Where we gonna end at? This is where we're gonna end today on a different note. Me and T often have had this conversation. I want to know why my timeline is inundated with these nasty fruit people.
Videos about vegetables and fruits cheating on each other. What the fuck kind of algorithm is this, gang? Why the fuck do I want to see a video about a broccoli nigga taking a banana nigga's bitch and she's a peach? Why the fuck do I want to watch a video about an eggplant nigga fucking an apple bitch? Bro, what? These dog shit ass videos, where the fuck did this shit come from? You niggas are freaked out with AI. I'm seeing domestic violence videos with cats and shit. A motherfucking cat was in prison fighting a lion. The lion beat the dog shit out of the cat, drug it in the bathroom and raped it? Who? Don't you gotta type in this shit to generate these videos? A nigga sat there and said, a cat fighting a lion. Oh, make the lion beat up the cat and drag it into the fucking bathroom and rape it? What the fuck kind of videos are y'all making with this AI shit? Get that shit off my motherfucking TL now! Why the fuck is there videos?
I mean, his language is quite colorful, but I have to say, I saw a video the other day of a strawberry, and she was having like an orgy with a bunch of eggplants, and she's married to a carrot. So she comes up pregnant and she doesn't know who the father is. And so now the carrot is here, like at the hospital, holding her hand, so excited about this new fruit baby, vegetable baby, whatever is about to happen here. And the baby is not a carrot or a strawberry, it's an eggplant. And oh my God, it just gets worse and worse. And he's right. It has turned into domestic abuse, stories using fruits and vegetables. And that strawberry lady, oh my God, she's so trashy. She's always just smashing somebody other than the person she's with. The peach lady, the strawberry lady is Strawberita. Is that her name? She is off the chain. And I'm like, where did this come from? Why am I always watching? Maybe I've watched them, which says a lot about me, I guess. But you be watching it and then it turns into something else. So for me personally, I'm gonna have to get off the fruit and vegetable story because they infiltrating my timeline in a way you applaud their creativity. Apparently I do too, because I know too many of these stories. You're sitting there, you're like, well, now what's gonna happen? A lot of times I just want to see what the baby gonna look like, because she's yet to give birth to a carrot. That poor carrot. Anyway, y'all, that's where we're gonna end the day. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope y'all have a blessed Tuesday. And yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. What'd you say? Keep all the AI not in public. This is my problem with AI, and then I'm gonna go. AI is doing such damage to our environment. I feel like how terrible we are over here wasting water to watch strawberries have orgies with cucumbers and then give birth to an eggplant baby. So yeah, I think, I have an adverse reaction to AI. I think we should quit AI. But yeah, in the meantime, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your people. Tell the people that we're over here having a good old time in the morning, 10:15 until we get done. And yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow, 10:15. Have a good one. Bye.